The following is a presentation of the Western Ontario Super Hockey League. Ladies and gentlemen, Sleeman Breweries proudly presents the Western Ontario Super Hockey League podcast. Once again, everybody, Andrew Rogers here, the host of the Western Ontario Super Hockey League podcast. This is episode number 7. Of course, the podcast is sponsored by Sleeman Breweries, and we really appreciate their sponsorship for this podcast and the Western Ontario Super Hockey League. It's great to be back with you guys once again. Thank you very much for the viewership. Last week's episode, unbelievable, off the charts in terms of viewership, and this week, hopefully, we'll have a whole lot more. It's great to have you guys' support, and we really do appreciate it. And also, welcome to November. It's another month, and man, are we getting close to Christmas? My God, it's hard to believe. This time just keeps on flying, doesn't it? Sometimes it seems like it's going by so fast that you don't even know. I don't even know what day it is anymore, man. When I work two jobs, I feel like my head's spinning on a constant. It's just you know what? I'm just doing what I got to do. You know what I mean? But again, we saunter on, right? I mean, it is what it is. But yeah, sometimes, like I say, I don't even know what day it is, but hey, I know when it's podcast time, and that's what we're here to deliver on. So yeah, guys, it's obviously kickoff November, Movember as well for all those participating. Big ups to Alvinston Killer Bees of the WOSHL and Scott Case. Last year, he was unbelievable in his support of Movember. He raised a lot of money over there for Alvinston, and I'm sure they're hoping to better that. So make sure to check out their socials where you can go to donate for their Movember cause. And yeah, it's just an unbelievable job by them. And I expect nothing less at this point for their upcoming November campaign for Movember. Also, it's Hockey Fights Cancer Month as well. And, big ups to the teams that are participating. I know Platsville is going to be giving away or donating, not donating. They are going to be wearing Hockey Fights Cancer jerseys on Sunday during warm-up, and then those will be available for auction throughout the course of November. So that'll be really cool to see how those jerseys look on Sunday when they take on the Delhi Flames on Sunday at 3:30. But yeah, so lots of cool things going on in the Western Ontario Super Hockey League. We had a great weekend. It was full, jam-packed. We have highlights coming up here in a moment. As well, we have our interviews on this week's edition of the podcast. A couple of really good beauties that are coming on here. From the Strathroy Jets, we have Wes Baker, number 10. He is off to a rocking start. 12 points for him in his 4 games that he's played this year out of the team's 6. And he's right up there in the top 10 for scores. So he's going to join us on the podcast this week. The other guest that we have coming on is the goaltender from the Platsville Lakers, Devyn Clark. Devyn... according to Game Sheet, faced 73 shots over on Saturday there. That's open to interpretation depending on who you ask and how accurate. However, he was busy, and no doubt he's coming on the podcast to help us reflect on that and give us his take on the season so far in the Platsville Lakers organization. So we look forward to those 2 interviews that'll be coming up here shortly as we saunter on. But just before we get underway with all of that, before we get into our highlight pack of this past weekend and our weekend recap, this week's edition of the podcast is dedicated to someone I did not know, but someone that, I felt like I knew very well, considering how many times I've seen this movie. Andrew Duncan, 90 years old. And again, for folks of you who don't know that name and probably won't, but you would know the name Jim Carr. anyone who's watched the movie Slapshot, the iconic hockey movie from the 70s, 1977 to be specific, this year celebrating 45 years. Its anniversary, and anyone who knows this movie knows exactly who Jim Carr is. Jim Carr was played by actor Andrew Duncan, who passed away this past Tuesday, and he was definitely an iconic figure for anyone who ever watched the movie Slapshot. From his candid interview with goaltender Dennis Lemieux and his interviews with Reggie Dunlop and Ned Braden. Obviously, Reggie Dunlop played by Paul Newman, the late Paul Newman. And this movie was just iconic. And I mean, anyone, well, and the Hanson brothers as well. Again, the movie had so many iconic lines, so many iconic memories. Anyone who is anyone could picture Jim Carr and his wig falling off in the middle of a tussle with Ned Braden in the press box. And of course, his interviews with he's got that great voice, and it's a sad day for him. That he passed, and we dedicate this episode of the podcast to him and his memory. That's Andrew Duncan, playing Jim Carr on the movie Slapshot from 1977. Died on Tuesday at the age of 90. But yes, we continue on here. The Western Ontario Super Hockey League podcast, episode number 7. We go into now our weekend recap, highlights, and video coverage as well from the weekend that was in the Western Ontario Super Hockey League. So without further ado, here we go. Our first game of the weekend wrapped took place in Strathroy at the Gemini Sportsplex. The Strathroy Jets defeating the Alvinston Killer Bees by a score of 4-0. Strathroy improving to 4-2 on the year, while the Alvinston Killer Bees dropped to 1-2-1. Scoring for the Strathroy Jets, 4 different goal scorers. Mike Banderelli with a goal, Brett Lashbrook a goal and an assist, Brandon Buck a goal and an assist, and leading the way, Wes Baker a goal and 2 assists for him. Also putting points up on the board, Andrew Secco with an assist, Dane Johnstone with an assist, Stephen Hillier and Pac McNeil also registering assists in the hockey game. Big game from Josh Diamond as well. 23 saves for the shutout for the Strathroy Jets, who outshoot the Alvinston Killer Bees 44-23. Over on the Alvinston side, kudos to Spencer Robertson. 44 shots against 40 stopped. Unfortunate for him, but big game. Big effort from him, and definitely worth noting there. But like I said, Alvinston drops to 1-2-1. Strathroy Jets to 4-2. 4-0 victory for the Jets in this one. Next up from the Elora and District Community Center, it's the 0-3 Aaron Bliss visiting the 4-0 Elora Rocks. First period, 3 minutes in, Rocks on the board first. Brett Wilson with the point shot. It'll be redirected wide by Chad Heron in front. However, it's Captain Spencer Gourlay grabbing the puck off the end boards and putting it past Braden Kelso of the Blitz. It's 1-0 Elora. Couple minutes later, Aaron trying to respond. Nice pad save, though, from Elora Rocks goaltender Craig Byford coming out of retirement to start in this one. Still in the first, and we get some heavy hitting. It's Mikey Giacometti lowering the boom on Devyn Miller of the Blitz. Nice check there. Alora now trying to extend their lead. Puck will eventually find its way to Spencer McCormick. His point shot, though, is denied by Kelso. It remains 1-0. Shortly after, 3-on-2 for Aaron. Initial shot is denied by Byford before some fancy stick work is displayed by the Rocks netminder to keep the puck out. Less than 8 to play now in the period. Elora rewarding their netminder, Chad Heron, with the snipe off the face-off win. The lead is now 2, heading into the second period. In the second, nearing the 4-minute mark, Elora bringing it across the Aaron blue line. This time it's Brendan Woods scoring his first goal of the season. That makes it 3-0 Elora. Halfway through the second period, Elora on the power play. Puck onto the tape of Blaze Bridges. His backhander finds a way through Kelso. The lead is now up to 4. It's 4-0 Rocks heading into the third period. Third period action now, just over 3 minutes in. Elora's Zach Cameron's going to bring the puck to the blue line. His shot from long range evades Kelso. However, the referees getting together determining that the call is ruled no goal due to the play being offside, just barely. Puck coming over the line there. It remains 4-0 Elora. Just under 11 minutes to play in the third. Blitz on the power play. Off the face-off, assistant captain Jacob Miller is going to get a stick on this point shot to spoil the shutout bid from Byford. It's 4-1 now. Under 3 to play. Blitz trying to mount a comeback. Hayden Ireland with the shot from the point. It misses the net on the glove hand side, and unfortunately that's the closest they would come as Craig Byford stops 40 in his return to the Alora Rocks net. Elora improving to 5-0, while the Blitz fall to 0-4. 4-1 Elora is the final. We go now to the William Allman Memorial Arena in Stratford. The 0-3 Plattsville Lakers and the 1-2 Stratford Fighting Irish. After a lengthy delay due to a bench door fix, we picked this one up late in the first period with Stratford up 1-0. It would stay that way into the second. After Brandon Spezial made it 1-0, he's at it again. Nifty backhand here through the legs of Lakers goaltender Devyn Clark. It's now 2-0 Irish. Under 7 minutes to play in the second after the Irish icing call. It's going to be number 77, Brady Schmidt. Nice individual play here off the face-off, beating Stratford goaltender Nathan Young to pull the Lakers to within 1. It's 2-1 Stratford, heading in to period number 3. 3.5 into the third period. Puck in the Lakers zone. It's going to find its way onto the stick of Irish's Cameron Stokes. He scores his second goal of the season. That makes it 3-1 Irish. A few minutes later, puck is still in the Lakers zone here. Cooper Leach is going to get whistled here for this hit. He's called for roughing, sending the Lakers to the power play. On the ensuing man advantage, Lakers captain Kevin Hugh makes Stratford pay. His shot evades Young just out of the camera angle here. Pulls the Lakers to within 1 again. It's 3-2. Just under 9 to play now in the third period. The Irish get one back. Point shot here is going to be stopped by Clark, but he cannot control the rebound. And it's a returning Colin Martin who's on the doorstep to score. It's 4-2 Stratford. Less than 2 to play in the game. Irish extending their lead. It's a gorgeous deflection goal from Stratford captain Ray Robbins. His third of the season makes it 5-2 Stratford. Irish will then add one more before the game is over. Brock Churchillo will score his second of the season to cap the scoring on this night. Stratford evening their record to 2-2, while the Lakers fall to 0-4. 6-2 Stratford is the final. On to Alvinston and the BAICC complex, where the 1-2-1 Killer Bees were hosting the 3-1 Tillsonburg Thunder. Picked this one up late in the first period. Shot here from Cameron Rombouts. Rings the crossbar in behind Jesse Raymond, but stays out. A few minutes later, Tillsonburg odd man rush the other way. It's going to be number 8 Derek Slott of the Thunder, beating Bees netminder Connor Latchford, and it's 1-0 Tillsonburg. Minute later, another odd man rush for the Thunder. Puck will find its way back to Braden Roberts. He buries his third of the season. Thunder lead it now 2-0 after 1. Second period, puck in the Killer Bees zone. Tyler Simon with the point shot. Nice redirect in front by Kane Geldart. That's his first, and it's 3-0 Tillsonburg. 4 minutes later, Alvinston gets on the board. Number 67, Ty Johnson finishing this play. Thunder now lead at 3-1. Closing in on 5 minutes left in period 2. Thunder with the extra attacker on the Alvinston delayed penalty. Matt Weston's shot is denied, but Andrew Tapsell buries the rebound for his second, and it's 4-1 Thunder heading to the third. Third period now, face-off control by Alvinston. Raymond out to play the puck. He can't come up with it or recover as Dawson Winchester puts it home. Thunder lead cut in half. It's 4-2. From there, however, the Thunder put it into another gear. First, it's Tapsell being sent in on Latchford all alone. Waits, dekes, an unreal goal from Tapsell. His second of the game. It's now 5-2. 8 seconds later, Thunder on the power play. Brendan Barletta's shot from the point fools Latchford, and it's 6-2 Tillsonburg. Less than 4 minutes to play in the game. Number 23, Jack Gee, joins the rush. He takes the pass and beats Latchford glove side. He puts the Thunder up by 5. It's 7-2. Minute later, now it's Mike Bruder following up on the play. His shot will beat Latchford, and that's his first of the year. It's an 8-2 score. 30 seconds later, Thunder put the finishing touches on the game. Chaos around the Killer Bees goal, and it's Geldart potting his second of the night. Geldart and Tapsell both have 4-point nights. Thunder improved to 4-1, while Alvinston falls to 1-3-1. 9-2 the final in this one. Our next contest took place in Delhi, the home of the Delhi Flames, as they welcome in the Tilbury Bluebirds. Tilbury downing the Flames in this one, 9-4 was the final. A 6-goal second period was the Delhi Flames undoing. Tilbury striking 6 times in the second. It was tied 2-2 after the first, and Delhi actually outscoring Tilbury 2-1 in the third. But as I mentioned, 6 goals in the second period by Tilbury really put this game away. Leading the charge for the Bluebirds, Dylan Denomi, 2 goals and 1 assist. Ryan Creviton, 2 goals. Cole Chevrolet, 2 goals for him. Evan Weber, 2 assists. Aiden Webenga, 2 assists. Vyacheslav Chigrintsev, 2 assists. Travis Winkworth, 2 assists. Mitchell Van Teeling, 2 assists. Kyler Carter with a goal. And Frederick Korp with a goal as well. Balance all over in terms of the Tilbury Bluebirds in this one. But as mentioned, put up a 9 spot on the Delhi Flames there. Over on the Delhi side, Joshua Sleegers, Dimitri Carvalho, Wade Metz, and Chris Donnelly scoring for the Flames. Donnelly adding 2 assists to go with a 3-point night. Wade Metz a goal and an assist, Mike Stolar with a pair of assists in the hockey game on the Delhi Flames side. Cody Odovashar, he stopped 38 of 47 in the loss for Delhi, while Preston Swan Marison, I believe with his first start of the year for the Tilbury Bluebirds, got the win, 33 stops on 37 shots. Tilbury improving to 6-1 on the year, while Delhi falling to 1-5. Our final game took place in Plattsville this past Sunday. 0-4 Lakers looking for their first win against defending champion and 5-0 Elora Rocks. First period, 30 seconds in, Lakers on the board first. Captain Kevin Hughes scoring on the breakaway, beating Colin Dunn, and it's 1-0 Lakers. 7 minutes into the frame, Lakers looking for more. They bring the puck up the ice to the Rock zone, and it's number 54, Jeff Zier, getting the puck over to Hugh again. He has the game's first 2 goals. Lakers lead now 2-0. 2 minutes later, defending champs respond. Puck comes ahead to Chad Herron. It'll eventually get to Steve Dole. His first shot is stopped, but he buries his own rebound. Elora's on the board. It's 2-1. Less than 30 seconds later, Elora evens things up. Andrew Brubaker is going to find Nick Tetley with the backdoor pass. We are tied at 2. Nearing 3 minutes to play in the period, Lakers' Brady Schmidt brings the puck up the ice. It's into the Elora zone, and this time it's number 88, Luke Sinclair, there to tap it in the wide open net. Lakers are in front again, 3-2. Still in the first. 30 seconds to play now. Kyle Langlois in the box for slashing. Elora on the power play. Zach Cameron's point shot is going to beat Lane Timmons, and the two teams combined for 6 in the period. We are tied at 3, heading into the second. Second period now, we flash back to Friday's Elora game against the Aaron Blitz. Chad Herron's going to score a goal off the face-off win. Back to tonight, he does it again. Eerily similar is Herron's goal here that puts Elora back on top. It's 4-3 now, heading into the third. Just past the halfway point, puck is going to be sent into the Lakers zone. A great effort here by Chad Herron. He beats the Lakers defender to the puck, centers it to Steve Dole. He beats Timmons, and that makes it 6-2 at that point, which would be all the scoring on this night. Elora improves to 6-0, while the Lakers fall to 0-5. 5-3 is the final from Plattsville. Yeah, so a lot of good hockey action this past weekend in the WOSHL League. Also, I want to give a quick shout out to Dream Team Productions. They were the ones that did the video coverage on Sportify for the Plattsville Lakers home game on Sunday against the Elora Rocks. Kate Kiljour does a great job for them, and they cover all of the Plattsville Lakers home games. So kudos to them, shout out to them, and thank you very much for all the hard work that they put in contribution to the Western Ontario Super Hockey League. So we appreciate them. But yeah, guys, so without further ado, our standings update here. You got the Tilbury Bluebirds at 6-1. They are tied with the Elora Rocks, who are at 6-0, both with 12 points apiece. Tilbury and Elora both with 44 goals for on the year. Tilbury 22 against, Elora 12. Elora on a 6-game win streak to open the season. The Tillsonburg Thunder are in third, 4-1, tied with the Strathroy Jets, who are at 4-2. Both teams at 8 points, and both with a goal differential. Tillsonburg of 13 plus 13, Strathroy Jets at plus 10, both on 3-game winning streaks. The Stratford Fighting Irish are in fifth place, 2-2. After their win against Plattsville, they are now at 4 points, 28-4, 18 against, for a difference of 10. The Alvinston Killer Bees, a rough weekend for them. They dropped 2. Their record now 1-3-1, 15 in, 27 against, for a differential of minus 12. They have lost now 3 in a row. The Delhi Flames at 1-5. They lose over the weekend, 16-4, 45 against, for a goal differential of minus 29. The Aaron Blitz at 0-4, and the Plattsville Lakers at 0-5 sit in the number 9 spot. But a lot of games to be played still here, 24-game season, and lots of room to turn things around. Our leading scorers update looks like this. Our top 10 board. Vyacheslav Chigrintsev continues to lead. He has a 1-point advantage over Dylan Denomi, who had 3 points on the weekend. He is at Chigrintsev at 19, Denomi at 18. 4 points clear of both Chad Heron and Spencer Gorley. Heron with an unbelievable weekend for the Elora Rocks. They both sit at 14 apiece. Wes Baker with 6-6 now. He is at 12 points through 4 games played this season. From the Bluebirds, Mitchell Van Teeling, 4 goals, 7 assists for him, 11 points. Trailing him is Brody Smith and Stephen Dole. Brody of the Irish and Stephen of the Rocks, both with 10 points apiece. And then rounding out the top 10 are Mitch Green and Mike Mandarelli, both with 9 points apiece. Mitch from Tillsonburg and Mandarelli from the Strathroy Jets. We also want to take a look now at our upcoming schedule for this upcoming weekend. We get underway. No Friday games this week of note, folks. We start the weekend on Saturday. 4 games are slated to take place. First one is in Alvinston with the Alvinston Killer Bees hosting the Stratford Fighting Irish. That starts at 6:30. In Tillsonburg, a colossal matchup there. Alora Rocks in their 6-0 record against the Tillsonburg Thunder in their 4-1 record. That one starts at 7:30, Tillsonburg Community Center. The Platsville Lakers travel to Tilbury to take on the Bluebirds. That one starts at 7:30. And then you have the Aaron Blitz and the Delhi Flames at the Delhi Arena. That one goes at 7:30 as well. I believe actually that might be an 8 o'clock start, so scratch that. On Sunday, the weekend continues. You have the Strathroy Jets in Stratford to take on the Irish. That one's a 2 o'clock start. Note the start time there. It's a 2 o'clock matinee affair at the William Allman, 2 o'clock Sunday, November the 6th. And then you have the Delhi Flames and the Plattsville Lakers also on Sunday, November 6th. That's a 3:30 start at the Plattsville Arena. So yeah, guys, without further ado, we want to get to the meat of the podcast, and that is our interviews with our esteemed players in this league. And we'll kick things off. We have Wes Baker of the Strathroy Jets first, and then that'll be followed up by Plattsville Lakers netminder Devyn Clark. So sit back, enjoy, and we'll kick it off with our interviews. Okay. All right, folks, we're here on the Western Ontario Super Hockey League podcast. This is episode number 7. I'm very pleased at this time to welcome in our first guest for the show. He is from Strathroy, Ontario. He is a byproduct there, and he plays for the Strathroy Jets. He wears number 10, Wes Baker. Wes, it's great to have you on the podcast, man. Thanks for doing this, and welcome.
Yeah, pleasure to be here. Thanks.
Hey, no problem. It's always great to be able to talk with various people in this league and shine a spotlight on you guys, because really, that's the whole point of this, man. The whole league and the streaming and being able to shine that spotlight on you guys. The talent in this league is insurmountable, and you deserve it, no question. But for you guys, yeah, you got off to a slow start, but things have started to turn around. For you specifically, and for the team, you've rhymed off 3 straight victories here. What would you say is the biggest reason for the turnaround, and how nice is it that you've had this little win streak?
Yeah, it's pretty nice. It changes the mood in the locker room for sure. As far as the win streak goes, I don't know. We got off to a slow start. We didn't get much skating in the summer, I guess, and it's being senior A. I don't think anyone was training during the summer, so Yeah, so it was just off to a little slow start because of that.
And then, yeah, like yourself, I mean, you've really come on here. You put a lot of good performances in, and now you're up to 12 points through in the first 4 games that you've played this season. I mean, what do you attest to the turnaround for you on a personal level? Is just being in the right spot at the right time, or is it more than that?
Yeah, a little bit. Like being in the right spot, obviously for a few of them, but for the most part, I was a little rusty coming out of the gates, and then I started playing with a couple line mates who helped me out along the way, like Brandon Buck and Greg Milner and Brett Lashbrook, and yeah, so it's been good chemistry there.
Yeah, like you guys have really been clicking, and I mean, it was evident again on Friday, a 4-0 victory over Alvinston. That was a huge game, I think, for you guys on a number of levels. One, you have a 3-point night. That's big for you. Got to be confidence moving forward there. That's huge. Josh Diamond gets a shutout, really good for him and his confidence. And then I think for you guys too, with how the game went, the first one in Alvinston there, a 7-6 victory by you guys in overtime, and to go back and then say, okay, we're not going to let you guys get a revenge game in on us. We're just going to blank you guys 4-0. That's got to be huge too.
Yeah, that last one in Alvinston, we were coming off a little slow because it was a doubleheader, so a lot of guys were feeling the aches and pains, but to let a 6-2 goal lead slide is a bit embarrassing. So
Yeah, I mean, like, it does happen. I mean, again, at any point in any time, like any team could beat anybody, I believe. And that just goes to show you the level of talent in this league. You've played in this league now for, you played last season and you're playing this season, obviously. What has been the biggest thing you've noticed from year one to year two? Has there been any changes that you have noticed?
well, it's nice that there's more teams. You're not playing the same team 4 times
Mm-hmm.
and kind of getting a little frustrated playing against the same teams 4 times.
Sure.
And then when you get those more teams in, then you get more talent as well. Like I forget the name of the team, like close to LaSalle there.
Is that what's Plattsville?
Plattsville, yeah, they
Yeah.
have like a lot of good talent there, and then yeah, then you go to Elora and Tillsonburg and Stratford, right? And they all have good grade A players.
Yeah, like it's kind of interesting, with Delhi, Plattsville, Aaron, and Tilbury coming in. Tilbury's off to a great start, but it's nice to see when it comes to expansion, having more talent come in, like you said, and just being able to balance that schedule to a point where you can like go up against more guys, more teams. Is there anyone that you were familiar with these expansion teams, or like was it all
Like
new?
oh, most like have I heard of these towns?
Well, no, I mean like the talent, like the players. Like,
Oh
do you
yeah,
have
like
any
a few.
familiarity there?
Yeah, a few of them I play like well, a lot of them I played against in junior B, and you just kind of grow up with some of them too, right?
Is that
So
what makes this league interesting, Wes? That there are a lot of guys out there that you have familiarity with, and maybe that can add a little bit of extra fire when it comes to like on ice competition and competitive juices, that chirping, that sort of stuff. Like, does that make it fun for you?
yeah, it makes it fun because it makes it a little smoother, when you get hired like competitive players and the game flows a lot quicker. And when that happens, then it's a blast to play in.
Yeah, no doubt. And the interesting thing for you as well, with Strathroy, you're going from playing in your arena last year in a new arena this year, Gemini Sportsplex. Um, how has that been? Like, is there much of a difference playing in that arena as opposed to the one you guys played in last year?
So the old rink, like the West Middlesex where we played
Yeah.
last year, it's a little tighter. It's a lot
Okay.
tighter. It's probably like it'll get loud if there's like 200 people in there, whereas the Gemini where we are now, it's not the same. But
Right.
the ice surface at the Gemini is far better for playing hockey, and it's a little bigger. The boards aren't made of concrete, and yeah,
No,
it's
I
just
mean that makes sense. I mean, I was just always wondering about how that would be as an adjustment for a home team when it goes from one building to another.
yeah.
If adjustments are to be made, that sort of thing.
Oh, we can just flow a lot quicker
Makes
when
sense.
the
No,
ice
and
surface is bigger, right?
yeah, absolutely. And there's a lot of talent that you guys do house on the Strathroy Jets. Josh Diamond, I mentioned him already. Like, what a stellar guy! Like, he had an unbelievable year last year, and it's nice to see him get the shutout on Friday. Like, how cool is it for you as a player to be able to know that he's back there as your big stopper in between the pipes?
Yeah, it's kind of nice. It's something to fall back on. So if you make a mistake offensively or defensively, you can just rely on him a little bit and lean towards him.
Yeah, and I mean, you also mentioned Brandon Buck, who's an unbelievable hockey player there that you've shared the ice with. What impresses you about his game?
Oh, he's really good. I mean, if you've ever watched him play, he's as smooth as it gets. So yeah, it's great to play with, honestly.
Yeah, and I'm sure it's just a matter of making sure your stick's on the ice and making sure you're in the right spot at the right
Yeah,
time. To
exactly.
be beneficial there. As a guy, also, for you, you're from Strathroy. You spent some time with the Strathroy Rockets, as you mentioned in Junior B. There had to be some moments there that really are fond memories for you.
Oh yeah, like I played Strathroy minor hockey until my major midget year. So I don't know how many years that is, but then I played one major midget year before I was back with the Rockets in Junior B. So I grew up here. It's great to play in front of the fans here, and yeah, I know a lot of people here too.
Well, hey, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, that's
No.
got to be kind of cool, man. Like just knowing you're representing your hometown team. Like I say, did you have any fond memories of your time with the Rockets? Any championships, great games individually, that sort of thing that you remember?
Yeah, I don't know if we had any championships. I think we got for my 2 years there. Like we lost in the second round and the first round, but yeah, we had a good group of guys, and is like a lot of them. I think 7 of us lived in town too, so it was fun playing with them too. And then yeah, it was just a good time.
And then yeah, you went off and you played some time in university and obviously some time overseas as well. What was that experience like for you? Like what goes into a decision like that? I mean, that's a big decision. It's not just, oh well, I'm going to do this on a whim. That takes some careful consideration, doesn't it?
Yeah, like when I started with the Rockets, I really wanted to go to college. That was kind of the route I wanted to take right from the get-go. Uh, so that was pretty installed into my brain. And when I got offered from Mercyhurst, I took it as soon as I got it. So that was a no-brainer there, and probably the best 4 years of my life. And then yeah, going to France was a big decision too. I talked to a few guys I know about playing in Europe, and they said it was a great time. You can experience the world a little bit. So going over there was nice.
Yeah, like I mean, that's got to be, like you said, a once in a lifetime type of opportunity. It's not just about hockey at this point, isn't it? It's about getting out there, seeing the world
Yeah.
outside of Strathroy, if you will.
Yeah, I like the hockey was pretty good, but I'd say that what I played in college was a little better.
Okay.
But like seeing the world and experiencing different cultures and different people was something you can't replace.
Well, absolutely. I have no doubt. I've never actually left Listowel, so I know how that is. I don't get out much, so I only that's why I like to ask people like what that
Yeah.
experience was like, just because to live vicariously through them kind of thing. And then for you, like I mean, last season, it didn't end the way you guys wanted with the Jets. I mean, Tillsonburg sweeping you guys out of the playoffs. Not like I say, not exactly the ending you had hoped for. Is this year kind of like a revenge year? Is there extra motivation to go out there and maybe finish what you started last year, that sort of thing?
Oh, for sure. I mean, Tillsonburg kind of took it to us last year, and it was like in this year we kind of want to be a little better in the playoffs, definitely in the playoffs. And yeah,
And then
what else to
yeah,
say about
Wesley.
that? Like
No, absolutely.
four
Like
straights kind of, or was it four straight? I don't really
yeah,
remember.
I'm pretty sure it was, but they were all tight games though. I mean, it's not like you guys weren't in it. But again, a goal either way, and it's you guys against Elora in the finals. I mean,
Yeah.
that's just the way kind of hockey sometimes plays with us that way, right? I mean,
Yeah.
but no, I'm definitely like I'm impressed every time I watch you guys play. I know how much talent you guys have over there, and what you guys are doing is impressive. The 3 straight wins is something to take notice of, and I know that it's really only up from here. We were talking a little bit before the pod about you and your work, like like you work for the Wes Baker construction, which is really cool, and then you also have your real estate deal. Like how is that stuff going outside of this? And like how does that work when it comes to balancing everything? Because that's a lot that you probably take on a given day.
Yeah, it gets pretty busy. Like we're busy building quite a bit. And then as far as the real estate goes, the market's not quite as hot as I'd like it to be, but that's another story. But as far as combining that all with hockey, it takes up a lot of my schedule, but you kind of manage it, right? The hockey doesn't really get in the way on a Friday or Saturday night. So
Is it one thing that I have to ask you in the back of your mind? Is it something that you worry about when it comes to injuries? Because that could definitely play a part. Let's say you were to get hurt in a freak accident or something of that nature. God forbid that should happen. I'm not trying to jinx it, but I'm just saying, does that play in the back of your mind when you're playing out there? That you have like that's everybody's got to be like that, where they like, oh, I got a job to go to, I got family to take care of, that sort of thing, right?
Yeah, like you run into sometimes a game gets a little chippier than you'd like it to get, and some guys run around more their heads cut off. But I mean, that's part of it. It's what you sign up for, and hopefully it doesn't affect my off ice work, right?
Well, that's just it. I mean, everyone's got to make a living now with the economy
Yeah.
being so in the crapper. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just every dollar and every cent counts, right? So, I mean, at the end of the day, you just got to look out for you and make sure you're okay, and that some of the bad doesn't happen, God forbid, right? So,
Yeah.
um, and yeah, like last question I want to ask you, like just about the game in general. Like you played this game pretty much your entire life. Like, what is it about this game that you would say that you enjoy more than anything?
Uh, I, the camaraderie in the room now, having a few beers after the game.
Just being
And
with
as
just being
far
with the
as
guys.
yes, exactly. Like the locker room and all that stuff's great, but as far as the hockey goes, as the flow, how fast it is, it's just exciting to watch.
Well, and like I said, you're off to a hot start. 12 points in the 4 games that you've played. Your team's now 4-2. You've rhymed off 3 straight wins. And next up for you guys, I believe it's coming up. You guys got a game coming up on Sunday. This upcoming Sunday, you play in Stratford against the Fighting Irish there. And
Yeah.
that's going to be a big game for you guys. And, best of luck in that one, obviously. And best of luck the rest of the way throughout the course of the season. We've been speaking with number 10 of the Strathroy Jets, Wes Baker. Wes, it's been a pleasure speaking with you. Thanks for doing this. And
Yeah.
we'll see you guys. We'll see you again soon.
Yeah, sounds good. Thanks for having me.
Okay. We are pleased to continue on with the Western Ontario Super Hockey League podcast, episode number 7. Very pleased to welcome in my guest at this time, the Plattsville Lakers netminder, Devyn Clark. Devyn, by way of Exeter, let me see if I got this right, the center of the universe, the town of Exeter. No, I'm just joking. I've heard that ad so many times, I just had to try that at one time. So, but anyways,
yeah.
Devyn, it's great to have you on here, pal, and welcome to the podcast.
Thanks, glad to be on. I've been looking forward to it for sure.
Well, hey man, it's an absolute pleasure having you on here. First thing I gotta ask you about. So this past Saturday, you're playing in the Allman against your former team. We'll call it that because that's really what it is. Going up against Stratford, you guys come out on the losing end of a 6-2 score, but you face an unbelievable amount of shots. Now that amount is subject to change, of course, and interpretation. But you faced a ton of shots, and what was that experience like for you in a whole? Like, if you could describe it.
Something I've kind of grown used to a little bit. My years in Lucan, we didn't really have that great of defense the odd time, so I had my fair share of 40, 50 shot save games there. So there's nothing I wasn't used to before. So a little tough on the body now, though. A little older, but can't complain too much. Still playing the game I love.
I mean, I find that funny that you say my body's getting older. I'm getting older. You're 22 years old, man. I'm 35.
I
What the
know.
hell? You can't be
I
saying
know.
that stuff, man. Come on now.
I know. Sometimes I wake up in the morning and I go, oh, I don't think I should have those pains yet, but
Oh God,
they're
dude, you're
slowly
making me sound so
creeping
old, man. Unbelievable. But yeah, I mean, like, it's a tough start for Plattsville, though, 0-5. I mean, we were saying before we come on, like, you guys, I think the record should be better. I mean, you've been in most of these games. You took the defending champs on Sunday to a 5-3 score, and that was a close game throughout the entirety of it. What has your evaluation been on the season, and where can you guys go from here?
Well, right now, it's the only way you can go is up, not having won any games or anything, but I think we're right in it. Like the last 2 games on the weekend there, Stratford and Elora. Our Stratford game, it's like 3-2 with 5 minutes left, and then they got those 3 quick goals, and then again, Elora, we were right there with them too, like 3-1, 3-2, tied game, and all that stuff. So we're right with these teams. You just got to find a third period to not take your foot off the gas.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, again, like I say, it's a long season, 24 games. You got a lot of room to improve, no question. There's some good things to take away though from the weekend, and I thought one a player looked very impressive is your captain, Kevin Hugh. He looks really impressive early on. What's impressed you about his game?
Well, I think it was one of his first practices, he comes out. He's got a rocket of a shot, and the accuracy is just unreal. He's coming down on one of the drills and just picks my water ball, explodes it, and that after that, he's definitely got something special there. So when he can find time and space, he's also got the hands too to set it all together. So if we can just find him and feed him the puck, I think we'll be pretty set there.
And in your goaltending tandem of you and Lane Timmins, Lane's a massive guy. Like
Oh
he's
yeah.
huge in the nets. He takes up a lot of space. For you and him, like what is it how does that relationship look? And what is it that you guys could take away from each other to make you guys successful throughout the course of the rest of this season?
I think we could just like help each other out, like feedback. Like in practices, we don't usually do two drills at the same time. So one guy is at one end. When you're a goalie, you're always kind of facing the play, so you're just always watching stuff. So if you notice little things that he's doing wrong, or maybe that I'm doing wrong, that I could fix, I think that would be probably the biggest thing that we can kind of improve on and get better this season with.
And then, yeah, a big story over the weekend was obviously the return to the ice of Jeff Sear. And you know what? It's funny. If you ask him, he'll tell you about it for hours and hours on end, probably. But as a guy who's at the head of this whole Plattsville Lakers thing, we had him on the season opening preview show. Like, what was his role to you in bringing you to Plattsville? And how impressed were you with his game after that long of a layoff on Sunday against Elora?
Well, I didn't really have very much of a feel for him. Like when I was supposed to play junior with him, the COVID season never really happened, so I didn't really know a whole lot. Didn't really get a whole feel with him. But coming in this year, I was supposed to go over to Europe. I had a few offers that never ended up working out, and he was the first person to reach out and offer me a spot until I could find a team and whatnot. And I was really appreciative of it because I'm not really like we're never close. He reached out before, I guess at the end of the my national season there, and ever since then he's just kind of been like here or there, but he's always been the one guy to kind of like give me the one up on somebody else.
Now, and again, like he had a great showing on Sunday, a couple of assists, and I mean, he was a big presence out there. Might not be the fastest guy in a young man's league, but it's got to be impressive what he did. Can we say that maybe this is the turnaround and the motivation that you guys need to turn things around here?
Oh, 100%. Like coming into the rink, like he was one of the first guys there, like he usually is. But this time, you just noticed there was something different about him. He wasn't talking a whole lot. He was just like focusing on the game, and he was probably one of our best players out there. Like I don't know his age or whatever, but yeah, like you said, older guy playing in the young man's league, he kept up for sure. Gave us the boost we needed. Got a couple assists, and like he was just running, not running around, but like playing physical. Like we haven't been really as physical as I think we should be, and I think that kind of just lit a fire under us. And it's like, if he's going out here and banging boys at this age, like there's no way we can't do that either.
Well, absolutely, no question. It's always nice when you see a guy like that come in and do things that, maybe he shouldn't be doing. You know what I mean? Maybe it's like his body can't handle. It's hard to say, but obviously he keeps himself in good shape. Must be to be able to still do it at that age is impressive, no doubt. In the short kind of sample size, if you will, of your time in anyways in the WOSHL. So you get into a couple games last year in Stratford, a couple games there this year so far for Plattsville. What is the thing that you've noticed in terms of like the play on the ice and the talent? Like you've obviously got a front row view. What's impressed you the most?
I'd say probably the speed, like coming from playing for the Nationals and whatnot. That's pretty much from there to junior C. I thought it was a big jump, but this is a lot faster. Like the guys, they're like 2, 3 years older than you, a little bit bigger, got more experience in other leagues, and the pace and the crisp passes from most teams. I think pretty much what set me apart or set the league apart from anywhere else I've played.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more there. And having seen also like one of the things that can really fuel a team also is playing at home. I mean, obviously, I haven't been down to the Plattsville arena, but from your vantage point, like how has the attendance been there, and is it electric, if you will? I mean, how's that reception been?
It's great, to be honest. We got a great fan base. The ice is really small too, so I think we play that into our advantage because most of the rinks are a lot bigger. But
Right.
you can definitely get a lot of banging bodies in there, and all the fans are loving it so far. So hopefully we can keep it up and maybe get some wins in there. See how it happens after that.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, wins would be the biggest turnaround at this point. But again, long season, a lot of time left here. So
Yep, for
in
sure.
you've been around the boat. I mean, it's funny, 22 years old, and they call you a journeyman of hockey. It's kind
Yeah.
of a wild thing to put together. But you've played with a lot of different teams and had a lot of different experiences. Is there any that kind of stick out to you in your experiences with different franchises that you were like, oh man, I'll never forget that as long as I live, kind of thing?
Yeah, I'd say, to be honest, it's kind of weird to say this, but like the COVID season, like last year and the year before, I had the opportunity to skate with some great people. Like here in Exeter, we have Kathy McElwain, who's a skating coach, and like everyone probably knows she skates with high end NHL guys, and I'm one of the lucky ones that kind of gets the little back door in and gets to skate with them and take shots from them, and I have for the past like 4 or 5 years, something like that. So I had the great opportunity to do that during COVID, and then I got reached out by a team in Poland. They wanted me to come down, but due to like health stuff and whatnot, I had to have surgery and didn't end up being able to go. But that's life. You gotta deal with the ups and downs. But other than that, she also Kathy is the skating coach for the Windsor Spitfires, so her son was drafted by them, and their coaching staff and management was always down here. And I, again, was the lucky one who kind of weaseled my way in there to take the shots and get the exposure there. So I'd say a lot of it came. COVID was kind of like a blessing and a curse all at the same time. Like I got all these experiences and opportunities, but you got to ride the roller coaster of emotions in the hockey world. That's for sure.
Yeah, oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, to never really know what's going to happen next has got to be a little bit exciting, but a little bit nerve-wracking as well. What I find very interesting about this league is that ability to go and play overseas and take your talent overseas. Like, it's not just even about hockey at that point. Like, yeah, the hockey's great and the experience is undeniable, but I think just about experiencing the culture, experiencing the way of life, experiencing new things, getting to do different things. I think that also plays into it. You know what I mean? I think that's just such a cool opportunity from this league to be able to have that.
For sure. And like a lot of guys, like you got some guys coming back from overseas to come play in this league. Me personally, I don't take it too seriously. I like to joke around, have fun, make friends out there, but also at the same time, I don't want to lose. Like I'm still in it to win and all that. And you can tell by how I play, but I like to make friends with guys, and you never know who you can meet and get connections from, and maybe from there go and play overseas for the team he played on or something like that. So I think the exposure from everyone coming in too, I think helps a lot with the exposure going outwards as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more on that. And again, for you, like I mean, having played as long as you have in as many different places as you have, what is it about this game that you look at and you say, man, you know what? It always just gonna keep coming me back. Oh, I faced 70 shots. So what? Gonna be right in there the next night. Like there's got to be something that fuels you. What is it that you would say is the biggest reason?
I don't know, to be honest. I've always kind of wondered that as well, but I think the main reason is I always kind of my grandpa who passed away when I was about I think 14. He was kind of my biggest influence. Him and my nana on getting into the goaltending position specifically because my mom refused to let me play. So I think once his passing, it kind of like just made me grow a little bit more love for it because that's kind of how I connected with him. And now that he was gone, I kind of that was the only way I felt like I could connect with him. And I was just always so focused and driven to play at the next level. I didn't worry about the top end result. I just junior C, I want to play junior B. From junior B, I want to play junior A. From junior A, I want to go to college or something like that. I want to play pro. Like I just kind of looked at the next step, and I think that also that little jumps at a time, and then eventually achieving those goals also just kept driving me to want to keep going. And like I'm producing at these levels too. It's not like I'm just scraping by. Like I'm starting at the bottom and then coming up and excelling at them. So I think the drive to want to keep getting better also keeps me in the love for the game.
Well, that's a fantastic answer, dude. Honestly, that's a great reason, and I commend you for that as well. So you guys are up next. The Plattsville Lakers are in Tilbury to face off against the Tilbury Bluebirds on Saturday. 7:30 is the start in that one, and we've been talking with Devyn Clark of the Plattsville Lakers. The Plattsville Lakers netminder faced a barrage of shots this past Saturday in Stratford. And Devyn, we wish you the best of luck, obviously, throughout the rest of the season. I really appreciate you coming on and doing this podcast for us and being a guest on this week's show. And we'll definitely make sure to catch up with you throughout the course of the rest of the year. Best of luck the rest of the way, and we'll talk to you soon, okay?
Sure, thank you. Appreciate it. Hope to get back on soon.
Okay, folks, once again, I want to thank Devyn Clark and Wes Baker for coming on the Western Ontario Super Hockey League podcast and being on as guests this week. And it was great to speak with them, and we hope to catch up, like I say, the rest of the way throughout the course of the season with them again. I know we will. We also want to thank Sleeman Breweries for sponsoring the Western Ontario Super Hockey League podcast. It's great to have them aboard for that. And once again, thank you to Dream Team Productions for their coverage of the Plattsville Lakers. And continued coverage and support of the Western Ontario Super Hockey League. I am Andrew Rogers, the host, and I want to thank you all for watching once again, episode number 7, and we will see you guys again next week as we always do. And take care, be safe out there, and enjoy your week, and we'll see you guys again next week. Take care so long, and we'll see you again.